I sort of want to turn on objective markers just to see what exactly the game wants me to do, since it's not really intuitive right now. It's fun sneaking around here, though, which is a big part of why I haven't stopped. God, there's a lot of guys.
Sure hope he's not around anymore. I'm not in the mood.
Oh, these were the guys from the dining room.
That masked killer? Heard some big
This whole business has me on pins and needles. Jumpy as anything. He might be somewhere close. Makes me so nervous.
No way!
Why is this all blocked? Oh, this stuff. I figured it was all covered in dirt. That's why. What the?
What?
What the? Ow!
Protect your captain, damn
You
it.
shouldn't even be in here. How'd you get in here?
You must lock it away.
I can still see the insides. One has become a stone, the other reforged and marked by the one whose eyes are black.
Poor Aramis. I feel obliged to take care of him out of loyalty to my father.
Wait. You are hidden, but I know who you are. I know when you are. You've come to watch me return, and someday I'll come for you.
Just blowing out all the candles when she talks to me. Just like giving her a confirmation that she's right.
Focus on the void behind the will.
I mean, I understand. I've got to find this statue so that she can die. I get it.
The stars. This is more exciting than any orgy I've ever attended.
Wait! Wait! We can't really.
Here, returned from cold, from forever.
How curious. It seems to have worked.
My spirit is safe now, inside this thing. Luca, you must lock it away.
I can still see the insides. One has become a stone, the other reforged and marked by the one whose eyes are black.
Poor Aramis. I feel obliged to take care of him out of loyalty to my father.
Wait. You are hidden, but
Part of me thinks I need to sit here and observe this whole ritual right now.
You've come to watch me return, and someday I'll come for you.
Focus on the void behind the will. You can feel her power, can't you?
By the stars. This is more exciting than any orgy I've ever attended.
Wait! We can't really.
Here, returned from cold, from forever.
How curious. It seems to have worked.
My spirit is safe
All right.
now, inside this thing.
I'm getting out of here.
Luca, you must lock it away.
Peace.
Let me guess.
Time to leave the manor, say I. We got that master key for basically nothing, I think. I mean, it'll let me out.
need time to think.
Yeah.
Talking to Sokolov or Megan might help.
Yeah. So the objectives didn't actually complete. It's time to just go. Yeah, I got a little confused there. Used up a lot of time, but it's whatever. I'm willing to accept making mistakes like that when I do things like turn off objective markers. I realize game design is very hard, and it's hard to design for every player. For a player like me who doesn't use the objective markers and who refuses to turn them on, slowdowns like this are gonna happen. Oh, I get to keep this? Why? Whoa! Holy stove! That's not what I thought was gonna happen. Did you have to do it this way, sir? Oh, it wasn't you.
Look around you.
Or was it?
A crumbling island at the very edges of the void. But this one is special. It's the place where my throat was cut 4,000 years ago. This is where my life ended, and where it began again. It's where they made me.
This part of the void feels older.
Outsider, you brought me here now to show me how you were created?
Right up until the end, I thought I'd find a way to escape. I fought, but the wounds only cut my skin, so I went limp. And then the knife touched my throat, and I knew I'd waited too long. The blood ran out, and I became a god. Now you know Delilah's secret. At the end of her days, she drifted through the void and should have been lost forever. But her will and cunning are second to none. She found this place, the island in the void where I became what I am. It changed her, and she discovered a way to draw from it, tapping into the power here. Delilah is a part of me now, and I don't like it.
Oh. Outsider. You were created by cultists? Perhaps those who worshipped the void. So you didn't exist. And Delilah found this place, this one island. Was this the origin of the void? Was this once a place of the material world, the physical realm? Our realm? I don't know what to call it, the normal world? Was this once part of the normal world and then these cultists created you, thus creating the void? And then Delilah drifted through the vastness of the void and just either by pure luck or through following some sort of calling encountered this, where you and perhaps the void itself were created. And she drew power from it. Now she can do things similar to you. That's why she has so much power, because she's a part of you now, and you don't like it. So, I think I can help you with that. If anyone deserves to die in all of the people that I've either assassinated or dealt with non-lethally, Delilah deserves to die.
You have to give Delilah credit. She tore out a piece of herself and hid it away, inside a thing made of bones. She's made herself immortal. If you want to kill Delilah, you're going to have to find her spirit and give it back to her. Reaching it won't be easy, but what comes after that might be the hardest thing you will ever have to do.
Oh. Well, now we get to see it in color at least. Looks very Kalimdor to me. I was gonna say, really, outsider, no powers this time again? But he left me agility, as they usually do.
The world is full of secrets.
Yeah, you're right. Wow. I'm sorry I spent so much time looking for what to do. Ah, dust.
All right. Back to the skiff. Sokolov should be waiting.
Can I not go drop Paolo and burn off? You know what? We're not gonna try it.
Damn this dust.
Wait. I still have this!
Careful with that sword. Vanguard won't like it.
Hey, where is Madati Silvergrass? Okay, it doesn't matter. It's just gonna stay dusting forever, huh? There's the wall of light. Jesus. There should be an unconscious Grand Guardsman here. Yep, there he is. From here it's straight. There's a rooftop over here where I dealt with a bunch of Grand Guard. Kinda wanna take that route just cause. Ah. Yeah, don't mind if I do. You may have thought that was a blind blink, but I knew what I was doing. Getting back to the skiff. No problem. Whew, we're inside. Jesus, by the outsider's crooked cock, that was oppressive. Oh no, is that gonna become one of my phrases now? Damn it. I thought you'd have a much...
We'll get what's coming to him, Megan. Leaders rise and fall. Which problems are resolved in time.
You're back. That was quick.
That was quick. I spent like 3 or 4 hours here.
So is Stilton. Maybe I don't even want to know.
Oh, we'll talk about it all once we're back aboard the Dreadful Whale. Right now, I need so much time to think.
Are you ready to leave?
Yes.
The dust is wreaking havoc on my throat.
Let's go. I did my best, and I feel like my best was terrible. Let's go.
Yes. I found a way to get around Paolo and Byrne, and I've been to Stilton's house. Let's go.
88 detections. This one was really hard. Well, it says 2 hours, 16 minutes. I guess I didn't really spend a ton of time here, but, you know, enough. Wow, man. Yeah, got both blueprints. Back to the Dreadful Whale. You've eliminated most of... Oh my god, I try to enunciate here. You've eliminated most of Duke Luca Abel's key accomplices. Talk to your allies about the Duke before departing for the Grand Palace. Ooh, I'm getting nerd chills tasteless.
Luca Abel tore down the original palace in Karnaca, where his father once pinned a medal to my chest. Over the ruins, the Duke built a structure that cost enough to feed everyone in Serkonos for years. A sprawling estate to humble all others, a monument to his ego. I owe it to the people of my homeland to make this right. In Dunwall, we were content to look the other way as long as the silver kept flowing. I've got to get inside the Grand Palace, deal with the Duke, and find a way to steal Delilah's soul.
Yeah, we know it's in that Kalimdor-esque statue now. Get her soul, probably put it in the timepiece, re-infuse her with it, and then kill her. But the outsider said what I have to do next is going to be the hardest.
This is my last night. Soon I'll dissolve into the great nothing.
You deserve peace, my love.
I've stayed too long. Find Delilah's spirit. Trap her with this cage of dead flesh. Set me free.
I don't understand.
You will, very soon.
Ah. Am I going to have to replace Jessamine with Delilah's soul? Freeing Jessamine forever and encasing Delilah in the heart. And then do I destroy the heart? Well, who knows? Right now there's writing to be done. Let's see. The Grand Palace, the Dust District. My lungs are still burning. I thought the coughing wouldn't stop. Megan's fermented shark broth helped a bit. Batista was in worse shape than I thought, otherwise known as the Dust District, remember? The Dust District, they call it, but the problem isn't just the bad air. It's the stress of living in constant fear, constant danger from the fighting between the Howlers and the Overseers. No way I could choose one side or the other, so I rejected the setup and found my own solution. But I still don't feel good about it. This is where I grew up, my home. Duke Luca Abel is going to pay. When Emily is Empress again, she can visit. We can do something to help people. That was exactly my line of thinking. That's pretty cool. Delilah's secret. Aramis Stilton never meant to get caught up in all this, but he played a key role. He supplied the Duke's inner circle with a place to hatch their greatest scheme. In Stilton's home, I could see both the past and the present. I watched a seance, during which Delilah Copperspoon's spirit was brought out of the void, where she was trapped, and into our world. I saw the witch Brianna Ashworth bind Delilah's spirit to an effigy made of bone, which was then given to Duke Abel to guard. This is the secret to Delilah's immortality. It is also the secret to her undoing. I just haven't worked out all the details yet. Yes, she has a phylactery. As every dungeon master knows. Answer from the Mayhew family. Oh, Alexei Mayhew. Lord Atano, we are devastated since our Alexei's death, but we found some comfort knowing that you managed to escape and there may be hope yet for Dunwall and our Empress. Thank you for your kind words. We're ashamed to say that we won't wait for your return, though. One morning, all the bread in Gideon's bakery was turned to ashes. On another, the wool yarns in my haberdasher shop were full of snails and slugs. There's a curse on the city, and I'm not even talking about the Hatter gang who now rules over our streets. Anyway, we're returning to our old home in Potterstead, where Alexei grew up. Good luck to you, Paulina Mayhew. Potterstead. Okay, maybe I'll visit. I do like to check on the engine room. It looks to be in pretty good shape, actually.
Long for someone to go after the Duke. Another aristocratic boss, living in a palace and sucking the marrow out of the same people who built it.
I never knew this opened up to the sky. I also didn't realize there was a door here.
I guess Duke Abel felt all right tearing down the old palace. I have fond memories of that place.
would have developed a healthy respect for the people of Serkonos. Fear of the executioner's block has been a fine motivator for many a ruler.
Let's pour some coffee. Coffee poured. Ooh. What a beautiful evening. We need to shape this place up, man, because this is a paradise if it weren't for all this shit.
Are you ready for this?
I've broken into palaces before. They're made to keep out armies. Stopping a single man who's dedicated to his cause, that's another story altogether.
Taking down Duke Abel is only part of the puzzle. You've also got to find whatever it is he's keeping for Delilah.
You were cryptic about what you gleaned from visiting the Dust District, which is fine. The world is better with a hint of mystery. But once you're inside the Grand Palace, whatever you do could affect things in Karnaca for years to come. Remember that.
I'll see what I can do. I know things in Karnaca are fragile. Emily and I have a lot to think about after all this is done.
I hope I've been of some help to you. It's good to feel useful, here near the end of my time.
The end of yours and the end of Jessamine's. Maybe the end of mine.
Anton Sokolov, painter, inventor, and philanderer, famous throughout the Isles, loyal only to himself.
And to you and to me.
I can see why you like her. She's almost as secretive as you.
Look at you. You've aged better than most, Royal Protector. I hear the Duke's wine cellar is exquisite, if you happen to pass through.
Oh, if I could bring you a souvenir, my friend, I definitely would.
I remember when you took me from Caldwin's Bridge so long ago.
What did you think of that, by the way? Oh, that's it. That's all you have to say, huh? I am a 39-year-old man, as I seem to like mentioning in this playthrough and other playthroughs. Presently going through what I think may be the tail end, or maybe I'm right in the middle of it, I don't know, of my midlife crisis. Anton speaks to the part of me that has awoken during my midlife crisis. The part of me that recognizes I'm no longer on the path to middle age, I'm on the path to the end. But I'm still young. I got my health, I'm vital, and I still have half my life to go. I've already lived the first half. I know how long it's going to be. However, as you get older, time seems to move faster. So I recognize how people get in Anton's situation. Look at this man. Old, frail, wishing to be useful. Just like my words constantly wax toward the midlife crisis and being 39, almost 40 years old thing, his writing talks about his aging, the end of his life, how he'll be remembered. He's almost bitter about it, and I feel like most people who reach his age are, because they have pain in their body constantly, whether they're standing, sitting, sleeping, awake, they're constantly in pain. And you go from, this is how I view it. I don't even know if this is how they view it, how the elderly view it at this age, or how those who have reached his age view it, but you go from being young and being able to wake up and go for a run, and you can live life. You don't have worries, you don't have concerns, you do things spontaneously. That's when you're a kid, that's in your teens, that's in your 20s, that's in your 30s, that's even in your 40s and 50s if you've taken good enough care of yourself, right? You don't think about the stuff that's coming because you don't have a reference point. You don't know what it's going to be like to be here. Even if you, like me, lived with, or maybe you took care of, or whatever. Even if you have experience with elderly people, you see them in their situation, but when you're young, there's still a part of you that turns off toward the reality of it, and you just accept that, you know, that's where they are, just like they have accepted it, and you accept that maybe you'll be there someday, but not today, and that's how you live your life. You just keep going, which is how you should live your life, to be honest with you. You shouldn't be constantly dwelling on getting here. But you go from being that young person who doesn't have a concern about this sort of thing to, when you hit your midlife crisis, to becoming somebody who thinks about this. You know that's where you're going, but you're at 39, you're still young enough to be able to say, whatever, I can think about that later, sort of thing. But that doesn't mean it's not on your mind. And I think that's part of what the midlife crisis is about. Anton has talked a lot about aging. He says Corvo is aged better than most. Anton thinks a lot about his age and how others have aged and what he's done with his life, where he's going in the short time that he has left, what he'll do, all this stuff. And it must be so weird to look through his eyes at the world, because this world is the same as it's always been. And it'll stay the same, even after he's dead. It'll carry on, just like this. But he won't be here to see it. And what does it mean to not be here, like present, alive? What does it mean? What is that like? We all know what it's like because we experienced it before our birth. It's like that. But having experienced the blessedness of life, going back to what Jessamine called the nothingness, that, I forget her exact wording, but she did call it nothingness. Going back to that, I mean, they captured it so well in his face and his facial expressions. I wonder what it'll be like, being that age. You see, none of us wants to be in that situation, but we all want to get there. We don't want to die before our time. We all hope we're fortunate enough to be in this spot. And yet it's so incredibly misfortunate that our bodies give out on us. It stops working, and we need more and more help just to cling to life as things go on. I don't know, it's insane. There's so much to think about, but yet, although it's a terrible spot to be in, you still want to be in it because you're still alive. You may not have the best health, you may not be in good health, you may not have zero worries, but at least you're alive. At least you have some health, right? You want some worries. You'd rather be worried about something than dead. You'd rather experience the pain than die. Now, of course, there's a threshold to that. There are people who have asked to be killed because the pain was too great. I don't know, man. And then there's people like Sokolov. I really admire this man. I see him going through what he's going through, and I wonder if when I'm his age, I'll think back to him. Maybe even replay this game. I feel a closeness to him in all this that I can't describe.
Now we're going after the one who started it all. The Duke himself. I forgot the thrill of it. Planning drop-off points, picking the approach. Thinking about the best ways to kill somebody who lives behind high walls. But with the excitement, there's a black echo that comes back to me for what I did at Dunwall Tower. If anyone deserves killing, though, it's Duke Luca Abel. I've loved a number of women, and even a couple of men. But I've never loved anyone like my Deirdre. After I left home, Those first years on the streets. She's all that kept me from the bottom of the river. I could sleep on a pile of garbage under a leaky awning as long as she was there with me. Sharing a tin of potted meat or a bottle of brandy that we nicked during the day. The Duke and his little brother came through Dunwall. And Deirdre and I got in their way as they stepped out of their fancy coach. The Duke goaded his brother, calling us wharf roaches. And it was the brother who swung the stick that killed her. Splitting her skull, there were wooden gazelles on top of the coach. And I snapped one off and drove it into his eye, as deep as it would go. Deirdre was already gone. Dead as a doornail. Lying in the muck, staring up at the gray Dunwall sky. On the run after that. I was hunted by the City Watch and even members of the Grand Guard up from Zirkonos. People looked at me like I was cursed, spitting whenever I got close. Everyone knew I'd bring trouble. Even the gangs. The Duke's brother has been dead for a long time. But now's my chance to get back at Luca Abel for setting him off against pretty, young Deirdre. Nothing was the same for me after they took her away.
Damn. That's your inciting event? You know, dear viewers, this may be the last time we're on the Dreadful Whale. At least for this playthrough. I forget that there's a whole Emily playthrough that I could do. That'll probably come years later. You see, I have options like that. I'm sitting here playing Dishonored 2. There's an Emily playthrough that can be done. There's High Chaos that can be done. And I know that in a few years, if I want to, I can do an Emily playthrough and have basically forgotten most of these missions, so it'll be fun to figure them out again. Anton doesn't have that option. Like, if I was Anton's age, I couldn't just sit here and say to myself, you know what, maybe I'll do an Emily playthrough in 4 years. I wouldn't be able to say that because I wouldn't be able to know. Then again, it's true for all of us. None of us knows if we're going to be here in 4 years, but, I mean... Not only do I have the worry of some untimely end at a young age or, you know, before my time, but Anton has that as well, because he could still meet that too. And he's got the inevitability of time encroaching upon him, right? I don't have that second one, the more pressing one, the inevitable one, right? And I feel very fortunate for that. And for me, a big part of life is just acknowledging and recognizing that I'm alive, I'm young. I mean, I'm 39 years old. I realize a lot of you in my audience, according to the analytics, say that you guys are between like the ages of 18 and like 32 mostly. So many of you may look at me at 39, almost 40 as old, but I am young. And you will be too when you reach 40. Don't fear aging. Do not fear aging. For as much as I have talked about the inevitability of aging and death, I also my genuine advice is for you not to fear it. Because before we reach the point that Anton's at right now, which is when we'll all have to reach and when we'll all have to deal with, there is life to be lived. Life is a blessing, and you can't spend all of it worrying about its end, and so I don't want you to think my midlife crisis has just been this one long fear of death. My midlife crisis has been mostly about figuring out my place in the world now, what I've done, where I'm going to go before that end. Like, that end is definitely a big part of a midlife crisis for everybody. but it's more about what I'm going to do with the time that I have, which, having already lived just about half my life, I know is a lot ahead of me, which is interesting. That's a fun thing. And if you are younger than I am right now and you fear getting to 40 or 50 or 60, you worry about these sorts of things. I'm not worried about getting to 40, which is in a year from now, or that'll be this year. I'm not worried about getting like a level. I'm not worried about getting 40, you know, because you say that in video games. I got 50 last night, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah, you're max level now, congrats. I'm not worried about turning 40. I'm not worried about turning 50 or 60. I'm not worried about those. Those, in my mind, are going to be good years. And I think that's the way you should approach things, especially if you're in your 20s and you're taking life for granted, which I certainly did. In my teens and my 20s, I took life for granted, like one of those. But you're supposed to. When you're young, you're supposed to be ignorant. It's just part of life, right? It's a stage. It's a chapter. But don't fear aging. Don't fear getting older. Don't fear the inevitability of time taking you, right? Don't fear that. I look forward to what's coming. My midlife crisis has not been an exercise in fear of death. It has been an exercise in planning and bettering myself, growing as a person. And let me tell you, your 30s, if you're not yet in your 30s and you're worried about your 30s can be some of the most freaking fun you've ever had, because you're no longer as youthful and as stupid as you once were, like in your childhood and in your teens and maybe even your early 20s. You're no longer young and stupid like you were, but you're not old, frail, decrepit, and irrelevant yet either. Your 30s and I believe your 40s can be some of the primest years of your life, and that's what my midlife crisis has been all about. I want you to know that, because I know I related to it in terms of Anton's, coming end, but that's the only thing I've talked about in regards to that. In reality, though, while my midlife crisis has been something that's taken up a lot of my mental strength, a lot of my energy, a lot of my focus in the past couple of months, I've been going through it for a while now, and like I said, I think I might be on the tail end of it, because I'm kind of starting to feel myself coming out of it at this point. And for me, it's been an exercise in self-improvement, in growth, in exciting things, because as I do things like work out. I was gonna say build my physical prowess, but that's such a weird way to put it. As I do things like work out and learn new things, I can see the options those provide to me in a future. And I think I'm gonna stop talking right now. I don't have my thoughts fully formed on that. Anyway, I can see you lurking about. Ah, I slipped. Hi.
Should we head toward the palace?
I don't know, man. I might need a break after this break on the dreadful whale. You know what? Yeah, let me take a quick break, dear viewers. I'm gonna heat up the coffee I have, because it's kind of cooled. Maybe use the restroom, etc., etc. You guys know how it is. This isn't even a stream. Why am I talking to you guys like it's a stream? I could just do the edit right now.
Time to get going.
All right, let's go. Now, Chapter 8, The Grand Palace. Self-serving and corrupt, Duke Luca Abel rules Serkonos and orchestrated the coup against you. Enter the Grand Palace to find and eliminate the Duke, who protects himself from assassins with a body double. Ah, look at that. You must also locate Delilah's spirit, the only means of counteracting her immortality.
At the palace, the Duke has a lookalike body double, meant to confuse assassins. A friend of mine washes the linens and said the double is a smoker, if that helps. Maybe you can talk to him. She says he's a nice guy. What a shitty job, pretending to be a tyrant like Duke Luca Abel.
Why don't they just overthrow him?
He's got an army, control of the mines, and he's had your support from the capital.
Whoa.
At the Duke's parties, people carve up the country while eating boiled crab.
There were parties like that in Dunwall. Toadies sucking up to Emily made me want to be back on the streets in Serkonos.
You're forgetting what that's like. I watched those party lights from the roof of the abandoned butcher shop where I slept, in the flooded district.
I know you struggled. After years in court, I'm a nobody again. But what I've seen here will stay with me when I return to Dunwall Tower. Being in Karnaca again has given me perspective.
Good. After you've eliminated the Duke, find what he's holding for Delilah and take it. When you're finished, I'll pick you up in the skiff.
All right. I cannot get over how beautiful Karnaca is.
Sorry if I sound bitter. Don't turn your back on the Duke.
No, you're right. I recognize what... Well, I guess Corvo recognizes what he's done. Just was willing to turn a blind eye to all of this as long as the silver kept flowing, he said. I don't blame you, Corvo. I don't blame Emily. This is a tough, tough situation. And the more power you wield, the more difficult the situation is. As long as you care about the people, that is. Anyway, we need to find a way into the palace. How do we do that? How, I say, how? Well, this doesn't seem very handy. Wait. Oh! The timepiece is gone, right? The heart. Okay, good. The timepiece is gone. And I say good because while it was a really cool little thing to do for one mission, I don't want it to become part of Dishonored's normal gameplay. So we know the palace is out there-ish.
Stuff comes in. It's got to get where it's going. That's why they call it the black market. Can't just sit here. Too much chance a Grand Guard catches on to us, or maybe rightful owners coming to pick it up.
What's the delay getting it to the shop? Better you afraid we'll get caught?
The guy that runs the shop is nervous. But if they just let us move it straight off the boat. Now, I got a friend over at the shop. Been running protection for black market shops for years here in Karnaca and over at Colorado. So there's basically no risk.
What's your friend's name?
That's a secret. These guys deal with me and nobody else. Job security.
Smart. Smart and transparent. I like the way you do business.
You up for a beer later?
Wouldn't miss that.
Somehow he's got the magic of believing he's on time and hardworking.
Yeah, I was like that too.
He's keeping an eye out in case he ever sees her again. He's going to hit her much harder this time if he does.
Sucks for her, but I don't know what she did. Maybe the bitch deserves a decking in the teeth, right? Nobody's innocent in Karnaca. Maybe a couple of people. Wow, I shouldn't be able to stand on that. Okay, I can't. These guys aren't even gonna aggro me if I...
Once I told her 1,000 times, it ain't my job to check on the grinders. Sometimes I think she's deaf on purpose.
I mean, this boat has goods bound for a black market shop. It's gotta have good stuff, right? What am I lacking in? I need potions. And I wouldn't mind some sleep darts, but what I'm really hoping for in there are some blueprints. It is bound for a black market shop, like we said. I think if I walk down the stairs, blink past them, or I could take the water route,